welcome to Monmouth in Focus, a program about the services and functions of Monmouth County government. I'm Commissioner Director Tom Arnone, your host for this segment of Monmouth in Focus. Today I am joined by my partner and colleague, Commissioner Nick DiRocco, who serves as the liaison to the Monmouth County Fire Academy and also the liaison to finance here in Monmouth County. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you, Director. Great to be here.
So what do you think about changing the venue from them little offices, secluded offices, about here in this beautiful weather?
You can't beat summer in Monmouth County, summer in Long Branch. You can't beat that view. So thanks for having me. It's great.
Oh, this is great. So listen, we all know that our Fire Academy and our emergency services are very, very exceptionally well run, an essential part of what the county is. And I know the viewers probably don't know all about what goes into the Fire Academy. What are the requirements to get accepted into the Academy?
Well, it's a great question. And first of all, as you know, I know you and I share this, our respect and really love for first responders in our county. They do a tremendous job, especially, our fire service, 7,000 of whom are volunteers in Monmouth County.
That's big.
These are people who are, putting their own safety and security at risk to help others. And it's a tremendous asset to the county. The Fire Academy does a great job of training our firefighters, both new recruits who are coming into the fire service and mid-career firefighters who are looking to expand upon their knowledge, keep up with the modern trends, and to have the most modern tools and resources and training that they can have.
What are some of the courses like they take there?
So every firefighter needs to go through both a Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 course.
That's interesting.
About 250 hours combined of training. And we have about 7,000 people come through that facility every year in terms of whether it's new recruits or folks in the middle of their career.
Wow, and I know that every class we have a certain amount of firefighters, both male and female, come in there, and how many usually is the traditional class size?
So it varies. It's typically between 30 and 40 people per class, but we can run multiple classes at the same time. Sometimes up to 3 classes, so we can get a lot of people through that facility, but we try to keep it small so that we can make sure that we're getting, the most effective training possible and getting our people really prepared.
So I know one of the bigger events that both you and I have attended there with Firefighter 1 was putting it all together.
Right.
And that's a big day, and I know that we watch them, and it isn't as, I guess, that nervous feeling because it is a training center. It's not live where they're rushing out of their house to go there. But what is that putting it all together about?
Well, it's one thing to hear about it, or to but when you and I are there, along with the sheriff and others, it's amazing to see all of the training and education now put to use in the burn house, using the equipment, and seeing those firefighters putting all their training in action on that site. And wearing, sometimes we're there and it's a hot day and they're wearing, dozens of pounds of equipment, and it's something to say, it really is. And you feel confident knowing that our firefighters are trained well.
And I've always said, I've literally always said that, well, everybody takes it for granted. When that whistle goes off at night and they are just literally, we're all in bed sleeping, and these people get out and they go fight these fires and they keep us safe. I think it's somewhat taken granted for. Absolutely. And we, all of the commissioners, along with our sheriff and all our constitutional officers, are so supportive of our public safety and our law enforcement. But I will tell you that there's a cost there.
Right.
And the one thing that you coming from a municipality, me coming from a municipality, realize is that we have to fund. This is an essential part, and you, as being liaison to that department, actually the ins and outs of how that works. So how do we do that? How do we make sure we give the resources and the financial stability to to the Fire Academy?
It's a great question. Well, as you said, we share a real respect for first responders and for the fire service. You can't say enough about their dedication to public service, their commitment to protecting the public health, safety, and welfare, and all the many ways that our first responders have contributed to the quality of life in our county. It's tremendous. It's countless ways that they've elevated the quality of life. And Monmouth's got a long history of supporting firefighters. We've got not only the statewide Firemen's Association headquartered right here in Monmouth, we've also got the State Firemen's Museum headquartered. So we need to provide them the resources. We need to continue to show them that 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 the work they do is meaningful and needs to continue to be funded. And we do it through our annual budget process, and it's something I know it's near and dear to your heart, but that process is arduous. We start it the minute we close the books on our previous fiscal year budget, we're starting on our new budget, and that's how you have to do it.
Important to say because we're running now here towards the end of the summer, and we're about to embark on that very time-consuming process of putting the budget together. And people say, why is it? It's because when we introduce that budget, we want the people in Monmouth County to know that we've given it everything to the taxpayers to give financial stability, cost savings, and more importantly, the quality of life. And so how does it work, the process, and how much?
Yeah, well, one of the most important things we must do, our obligation is to respect the taxpayer. Job number one is to not take into the public treasury more than you're spending. It sounds simple, but unfortunately not many levels of government do it. We do it, but not all other levels of government do that. You should only be taking into your public coffers what you need to fund the government. So what you do, right, is you meet with all your department heads. You make sure that you know bare minimum what you need to continue to deliver essential services, to protect public health, safety, and welfare, to make investments in infrastructure, which we both know are very, very important. And then when you have your required, what your priorities are, then you seek measures to fund them. And I know in the county, as you know, we've actually cut the tax rate over the last few years, and
that's huge.
It's huge, and we've been good stewards of the taxpayer.
Well, thank you, and I thank you for all this information here. It's a long process. We have so many departments here in Monmouth County, and you chair and as the liaison to two of the most vital law and public safety, and more importantly, the financial side of it. So I want to thank you, Commissioner Nick DiRocco, and looking forward to continuing this great work that we do as a true team there. That's all we have for this segment on Monmouth in Focus. Looking forward to seeing you the next time.